What are the main blood groups? The main blood groups are classified with ABO and Rh systems. ABO blood groups are governed by a single gene in 3 varieties. A, B and O people with AB blood inherit an A gene from one parent and AB gene from the other. Red blood cells sometimes have an antigen, RhD, which if present, makes a blood group RhD positive and if absent, RhD negative. Most people are RhD positive. So, 8 main blood groups are A+, RhD positive, has A and RhD antigens on the red blood cells with anti-B antibodies in the plasma. A, RhD negative, has A antigens on the red blood cells with anti-B antibodies in the plasma. B+, has B and RhD antigens with anti-A antibodies. B has B antigens with anti-A antibodies. O+, has no A and B antigens, but has RhD antigen and both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. O has no antigens, but both anti-A and anti-B antibodies. AB+ has A, B and RhD antigens, but no antibodies. AB has A and B antigens, but no antibodies. Can pretty face play some biological role? The answer to this question could be found by a group of scientists who researched the correlation between attractiveness and health of a person. During the experiments, 159 photos of real people were shown to almost 500 volunteers who had to choose most attractive faces. At the same time, the people in the pictures underwent different medical examinations. As a result, researchers discovered that people whose faces were described as more attractive had on average a better immune system than others did. This study suggests that attractiveness can have a biological role, signaling the health of the body and the quality of heredity. Why are we celebrating the International Women's Day on the 8th of March? In 1917, on Sunday, February 23, according to the Julian calendar then in use in Russia, women began a strike for bread and peace, in response to the death of over 2 million Russian soldiers in World War I. After the Russian Revolution that took place the same year, the country adopted the Gregorian calendar, in which the 23rd of February corresponded to the 8th of March. It was also in 1917 that communist government headed by Vladimir Lenin made this day an official holiday. Remained predominantly a communist holiday till the late 1960s. In 1965, the 8th of March became also a non-working day in the Soviet Union. International Women's Day was first officially recognized by the United Nations in 1977. It has since been commemorated annually by the UN and much of the world, with each year's observance dedicated to a particular theme or issue in women's rights. Why Antarctica has its name? By the beginning of the 19th century, the search for a southern continent had been going on for several centuries. In 1820, a few years after Australia became Australia, an expedition from Russia spotted mainland Antarctica for the very first time. Looking at maps throughout the 19th century, you can find a few different names for the southern continent, including Ultima and Antipodia. John George Bartholomew, a Scottish cartographer, is believed to be the first person to use Antarctica to refer to the continent. The name was taken from the existing word Antarctic or Antarctique in French, as the French held a colony in Brazil below the equator which they named France Antarctique. Antarctica comes from the Greek word Antarctique, which literally means opposite to the north, this last discovered continent being home to the southernmost point on Earth. Why Australia is not New Holland? Terra Australis Incognita means the unknown land in the south, in Latin, and rumors of the continent's existence dated back to ancient Roman times. The first person from Europe to find a land that could possibly fit this description was Dutch explorer Willem Janszoon, who went there in 1606. In 1644, the future continent was given its first name, New Holland, but the Netherlands didn't attempt to lay any real claims to the land. In the 1770s, British explorer James Cook sailed to the continent and decided to claim the entire east coast for England. The British colonized the continent, and it was Matthew Flinders who pushed for the use of Australia from 1804. Though Australia was used unofficially for several years, Governor Lachlan Macquarie petitioned for its official adoption in 1817. It wasn't until 1824 that the name was officially given to the continent. Why America for the continent discovered by Columbus? After Christopher Columbus sailed west in 1492 and reported his findings to Europe, other people took it upon themselves to find out about the land they'd been previously unaware of. One of these people was the Italian merchant and navigator Amerigo Vespucci, who traveled to the New World in 1501 and realized that Columbus hadn't made it to India, but in fact had gone to an entirely different continent. Vespucci wrote about his travels and his books were published in 1502 and 1504. In 1507, a German cartographer, Martin Waldseemüller, made a new map that included the New World and decided to give the credit for this discovery, not a physical discovery, to Vespucci. Since both Europe and Asia got their names from women, Martin Waldseemüller chose the name of America, or the land of Americus Vespucius, the Latin form of Vespucci's name. Why do we call the African continent Africa? The origins of the name Africa date back to the ancient world and can be explained by several versions. One theory is that it was named for a native tribe there, the Afri, with Africa then being the feminine form of Africus, literally meaning land of the Afri. An alternate theory is that Africa comes from the Phoenician word afar, which means dust, put together with the Latin suffix ica. So the name could mean a land of dust. According to a third version, the Arabic afar meant earth itself and was used by Romans who called their new province Africa, which was only a small part of the whole continent. As Europeans continued exploring and discovered the breadth of the continent, the name that the Romans had originally used for their small province stuck, and the entire continent became known as Africa. What are the main physical differences between white and black rhinos? Both living in Africa, the white and the black rhinoceroses have several main differences in physical appearance. And it's not their color, which is normally dark gray for both species. Body shape. White rhinos, who are long, imponent and barrel-shaped, and can weigh up to 2,300 kilograms, are larger than the black ones, who are shorter and more compact with a maximum weight of about 1,200 kilograms. Mouth shape. White rhinos are grazers and have flat and broad lips, whereas black rhinos feed on leaves and branches and possess a pointed lip in the shape of a hook. Horn length. White rhinos usually have a longer front horn and a much shorter second horn. Black rhinos have shorter front horns than white rhinos, but the second horn is just slightly shorter so that the two horns are more similar in length. Ears. White rhinos' ears are tubular and very long, while black rhinos have smaller and rounded ears. When did the modern symphony orchestra appear? The predecessor of the modern symphony orchestra appeared around 1600. The most notable early example was the ensemble playing in the Italian composer Claudio Monteverdi's opera Orfeo. In the late 17th century, the French composer Jean-Baptiste Lully directed for the royal court an orchestra dominated by string instruments but also including woodwinds, such as oboes and bassoons, and sometimes flutes and horns. In the 18th century in Germany, Johann Stamitz and other composers in what is known as the Mannheim School established the basic composition of the modern symphony orchestra. 4 sections, consisting of woodwinds, flutes, oboes, and bassoons, brass, horns and trumpets, percussion, 2 timpani, and strings, first and second violins, violas, cellos, and double basses. Why does electricity make a humming noise? The electricity that comes from power plants uses alternating current, AC. So named because the current changes direction, or alternates, many times per second. The number of times per second the current alternates depends on country standards. AC power usually alternates at 50 to 60 Hz, or 50 to 60 times per second. The hum you hear is usually about twice the frequency of the AC power being used, when electricity hums at 100 to 120 Hz. It usually is an electromagnetic device called a transformer, which is used to decrease the voltage of power, vibrating that creates the hum. The reason power lines themselves might hum is due to corona discharge of energy that happens when the electrical field around the power lines is greater than what is needed to start a flow of electric current from the power line to the surrounding air. Most modern power lines are designed to avoid this problem. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates from Rabbit Fox Insight.